Hello there everybody, sure hopes the most here, Starborn Feeling coming at you with a new art video. This is the first one in the year and hopefully the first of many more to come this year as well. So let's just hop right on into it, okay? So, quick rundown, this is me redesigning my OC for online and basically just wanting to update it a little bit to get it a bit cleaner. And so I actually wanted to just go and share that with you today. Long story short, this is something I started streaming back in the end of last year, around November I think, end of November. And it just wasn't something I was able to finish in time due to the holidays and work. So I took some time on my own to finish it up, and here we are. So just a few things I want to go over. I wanted to keep the main idea of the lantern as the base, but also I wanted to adjust it slightly to have a bit of a cleaner read, more eldritch, rather than just something that was like possessed, which is what the first design came off to. Not to mention also clean it up a little bit so it wasn't as dark. I like the idea, I like the style, but when you actually look at it from a distance, it was basically just a black diamond shape with some splotches of red on it here and there, so it wasn't that clean of a read. So this new version, I started off by just taking apart some of the a few versions or a few lamps I found online, and just went through the process of just trying to mix and match them, trying to see what shapes I can make out of combining my original lantern shape with the newer ones, and see what looked nice. This is a bit of I guess the best way to put it is the half-done version of photo bashing is the best way to call it, since I'm just combining two images to see what shapes I can make, and then from there I just proceed to refine them a little bit. So my process for designing the OC is fairly straightforward, like I said. I found a image on Pinterest which was just basically lamp shapes, and I took that and found the ones I found most interesting from that image, and basically just stuck them on top in different positions, different angles of my original design, made them slightly transparent, and just proceed to work from there. Once I had everything in place, I just took a little bit of red and started tracing over the designs, making sure to use a combination of both the original design and the shape I found off of Pinterest, and trying to keep it more so in line with my original design, where I was using more of the original versus other shape. And I got a few interesting different styles out of that. So you see as you go see me going on, I also begin to experiment a little bit about what shapes I could add or what shapes I could take away, and just try to find something that looked interesting, because I wanted to keep a bit of a top-heavy design, more so than a bottom-heavy. And as I was going through, I also making sure to just keep the original ear shapes, because those I felt was really important to what I was trying to do, and indicate a bit more of the actual character design I was trying to portray for this version. Something you'll also notice as the video keeps playing is that I also kept the top shape to give it almost like a hat silhouette, honestly. And I also kept the initial tail design. Mind you, that does get taken off later, but anyway, these were ideas I really wanted to keep and felt were important to the character as I was developing them. Once we had everything, once I had all my silhouettes blocked out, I decided to just proceed and start altering and adding two tones of color to get a better, cleaner shape of the design, and we proceeded on to the next step from there. So something I want to preface real quick before we head into the next step is just how my process works. So typically I will start with a warm tone color to try and get at least the basic blocking of my design or art piece out. Once I got that done, I'll then switch over to a cooler tone to start cleaning things up, which is what I did here. So using a mix of green and purple, I started to try and get my shapes out a bit more. Just something like I said, literally just blocking out the actual shapes I wanted to use. And once I came up with something I felt was good, I moved on to the next set and kept repeating the process over and over again until I had all pieces. And from there, I just started to clean up the edges a little bit, see what looked nice, what worked, what didn't, and what I felt could be an interesting shape. So I do want to preface I did do this over, like I said, a few different streams. So what ended up happening was I would actually take breaks in between to come back to this on a later date and see where I stopped and what I liked, what I didn't like, which actually really did help out with your design and something I would recommend anyone who is designing take time to do. So for this design, what I decided to do was to, once I had my sketches done, I actually picked 3 of the ones I liked the most and actually started to use those as the base for blocking out, altering and playing around with the different shapes, trying to get different forms and designs that I liked. As I kept going, I referred back to some of the original ones I did and picked aspects that I liked and I didn't like, and tried to see how I could incorporate both into my design or to remove from my design and see how that affected everything. With this process, I ended up with 9 distinct silhouettes I then proceeded to play around with, adding details, removing details, seeing what looked good, what didn't, and just trying to come up with something that I felt would be a great final shape for my for the final design, and just proceed from there. And again, once I had everything figured out, I actually stopped and looked over my shapes, picked the 3, one from each section that I liked, and started experimenting with those as well, trying to add details, decal, figuring out what looked good, what didn't look good, and which one would best fit what I was trying to do. And so I actually ended up going with the what I like to call my heart option. Basically, it's the one that looks closer to like almost an anatomical shaped heart that worked best with what I was trying to do. And as I was experimenting with it, I actually tried adding a section that was broken to see how that would affect the design. And I realized I actually really liked that because that actually gave it a bit more personality and told a bit of a story of how this artifact might have been broken or damaged, and then maybe the power within was starting to leak out. So with everything now set up, I decided to just start outlining the shapes of my design, and I kept playing around with everything as I was going, and actually decided to remove the little I guess the little dangly tail I had originally started with, and instead trying to play up with the shapes a bit and decided to go with something a bit more liquid-like, having it coming out of the design itself, like coming out of the body. I wasn't quite sure where I was going with it, but as I worked with it, I realized I kind of liked this design because it gave me a little bit more to work with. Because as I was developing it, I realized I could use this as a base for different powers and abilities the creature could have. From there, we proceeded on to the next part where it was me just cleaning up the line work, starting to add color, and we see the final result in just a little bit after this. I actually played around a little bit with the design of the fire as well that I had coming out of the shape, because I wanted to have something coming out of that broken section so it wasn't just, it looked empty otherwise. For my color palette in this case, I love cool tones, so that's what I just went with. And as you see, I'm using a lot of a gray base as my main body, and then adding blue to the flames, which indicates a bit more ghostly or spiritual sort of presence. I also realized I wanted to add a bit more of an expressive motif to the design, just other than the flames, so I ended up designing eyes later down the line. As I was going through this, I did realize this looked great, but it would be a bit busy for what I had in mind for it down the line, so I decided to create a simpler version as well. And we get to see that a little bit later as well, once we actually start going through things. So with that all said, I started cleaning up the design a bit more once I had everything blocked out. I had my base color set up, and just started adding shading after that. I actually had some reference set up on a different screen where I was looking at some flames examples, and I actually realized that I could just cut out bits and pieces of the flame along the edges to give it more of a distinct shape and style. Once all that was done, I actually started working on the simpler version after that, and actually started developing some basic sketches for like what abilities or powers this OC would have. And 1, 2, 3, there you go. That it was this final design. So from here, I'll let you guys just enjoy the rest of the video and watch me finish up the last of the process. If you like what you saw here, just remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified of new videos when they come out, share the content if you enjoyed, or just need a bit of background noise in life. And until then, I'll see you at the end of the video. And so now Ta-da! What do you think? Like the new me? Well, there we go. That was this episode, so I do hope you all enjoy this. Until then, I will see you all next time. So remember to be kind, try the numeral, and hope to see you again soon. Hopefully there'll be more art videos coming out soon, but until then, this has been Starborn Feline signing off for now, saying a good bye!